what is my experience of marketing, and like how do I individually as a consumer feel about it? And I think like the volume of marketing that I encounter is so intense that it takes so much, at least for me, to kind of cut through in a way that feels interesting and like you say, relevant, but also different enough that it stands out. And I think like that must be a really significant challenge, because I see so much sameness that it's easy to just like not even perceive it. And so
you're so right.
Yeah, so I was trying to challenge myself. I was like, okay, so let me think about something that I saw. And like, because Warby Parker did their like, you know, virtual try on. And I remember seeing that. So you like have this filter that you can like, you know, load on your phone, and it basically try on glasses without having the physical glasses there, right? And I just remember thinking like, this is like, it seems obvious once you see it. You're like, clearly, like you already have, I mean, to your point, Emelia, you have the people who are like glasses collectors, right? Those people are already at Warby Parker, right? Like they can't wait to get in there for every drop and like see what's going to be new and fresh. But like for the people who just can't be bothered, like they don't have like glasses that they need, right, to like actually see. These are like reader people who like glasses would be great, but like it's too hard for me to like go to an actual place and like interact with people. Like as an introvert, like I understand that also. You're like, it's too hard. But if you can just do it on your phone, and then you can order like 3 pairs and like send back the ones that don't work out. I was like, I just remember it kind of blew my mind. I was like, this is exactly where like technology is introducing a new means and modality of selling in a way that feels beneficial to the consumer. And I think that for me is usually what's missing. Is like, I see the push, but I'm like, what is in this for me? Like, why am I interested in this? Whereas like for that, I was like, that was an easy uptake for me. And I know there are other brands that are doing it now with like shoes and other things, but like that really stuck out in my mind as something that seemed really like kind of a bit of a paradigm shift in terms of like a tool that could be used.
That's a great example, because I think that's, I haven't seen that campaign, but it sounds like an example of really being thoughtful and creative about utilizing the platform in which you're presenting or asking for the attention of the customer, right? You know, it would seem to me that like you want to leverage each digital platform in a way that optimizes its strengths. And it sounds like this platform that what were you on?
Sure, I was like on Instagram.
Right. You don't even remember where you were, right?
Yeah, like
exactly. So your example was a great one, because it also brings up the issue of attention, right? And you're right. It like these companies in marketing are fighting for your attention.
I also feel like, and I don't know that how often or how much this is a motivator for brands, but my recollection of Dove is that it just kind of had sort of I don't know what the words would be, like in law we would call it public policy benefits, right? Like it's just kind of like a pro-humanity angle, right? Like whether you buy this or you don't buy this, like the messaging was like, we should all just feel better about ourselves. Like you don't need like, you know, the best, newest, most expensive, whatever. Like just get comfortable with like the skin you're in. And I feel like sometimes I really have a favorable response to like marketing in that vein, even if it's not a product that is talking to me, even if it's not a product that like I'm gonna buy. Like I don't know, it might be like power tools. Like I don't care, or nor will I ever buy a power tool, but like sometimes I'm attracted to marketing in it for demographics that are not mine, just because they have this like strong message that is relatable, that is authentic, that feels like it's not just a hand reaching for my wallet. You know?
Yeah. That's a really good point. And also that's also a nod to the incredible power of creativity as well, because it is a competitive advantage you can leverage against your other companies that you compete with. But it takes daring, and it takes, so yes, it's the message, but it's also the creativity, and good creativity and good design, I would argue, it works. There's 2 parts of the brain, right? So Daniel Kahneman writes about system 1 and system 2 thinking. That applies really well to creativity and branding and business, because part of what I suspect happened with you, Nicole, as you gave these examples of campaigns that caught your attention, is they were working on your system one brain. That's the fast part of the brain. And that's where brand building tries to operate. It's emotional, it's immediate. It bypasses the resistance of your rational slow brain and creates mental availability for that brand or that idea to get your attention, right? Because our brains are wired to like filter out unnecessary information. That's how we survive, right? So good branding married with great creativity helps shortcut and goes to the system one brain. Because, but here's the point though. The system one brain, we're not doing that kind of communications and attention getting because we want to sell them something there. The selling part is part of your system two brain, right? So when I talk about the long and the short, like a 2-speed marketing plan, a brand building campaign is meant to connect with your system one brain. It's fast, it's emotional, it creates an impression. It builds mental availability for your brand so that's recognized. Later, when you enter the eyeglass buying category, you're actively looking, and then you'll be more likely to remember X brand, and you'll respond to a sales message or a persuade or an activation message or a please buy or a call to action, that kind of thing.
Well, it's useful to hear that description because that's exactly my experience. It's exactly that of like, oh, like this is somehow speaking to me, even if I don't have a specific interest in this product, which to your point is just illustrating how powerful it is. Because it's like, I'm not responding to some need that I have for something. It's just kind of like an automatic, authentic response.
Yeah.
And that in itself is going to kind of like draw me along or at least like create a positive association with a brand.